fair, man. Life's
Telling
not
you,
fair.
man.
Well, enough about them, and enough about the past. Let's talk about who's the player for right now that gives you the most hope. If you had to
Oh, it's
single out
RJ.
one guy.
Yeah, it's RJ, no doubt about it. The kid has come in and just been just fearless,
Yeah.
and not afraid of the moment. You know, obviously he comes in with flaws. We know his jumper is not efficient. We know that his free throw shooting has been horrendous. But there's so many aspects to his game that you like. You know, his aggressiveness, the ability to get to the line, the ability to be ambidextrous in terms of how he finishes. I think his defense has been pretty commendable at the NBA level thus far. The way that he can be a productive facilitator on the wing if you need him to be. I think RJ's come in and played at a very high level this early. And like I said, obviously you have none from Miami Heat. You have John Morant, who's certainly leading in the rookie race, but RJ's right there with him, man. So
RJ got a lot of Duke in him. He's got a lot. He's got a lot of Duke, a lot of Duke ways. If I had to explain it that way, and you want to know what you want that. Whatever it is, Krzyzewski's got going on down there, he's got a lot of winning going on, and you could see he wants to be that lead dog. He wants to be the alpha. Is he a number one? Is he a number one on a championship team? Is he a number two? Is he even a number three on a championship? Where do you see him in terms of the of what the Knicks need going forward?
Ceiling wise, I think he could definitely be at least a three. We got to see how the rest of his game rounds out in the coming years. I think he could definitely be a three. He just has that dog in him, man, and he has that pedigree, like you mentioned, being under Coach K, playing for the Canadian National League. Both of his parents basketball players growing up in the city. His father is St. John's product. You have Steve Nash, who's his godfather. The kid was just well groomed for this, and again, being under the brightest lights, man. We always say the Knicks jersey is the heaviest jersey, and I just love his poise coming in so far as a rookie. And even though, again, yes, he has his flaws, I think his heart and his mental fortitude is what's really going to make him a great player. You know, even the disappointments, you know, you had Kyrie hit him, catch him with a step back. Jason Tatum catch him with some game winners. I think he's just going to continue to learn from those and be a big piece for this town.
If that's who RJ is, what is Mitchell Robinson? What is Mitchell Robinson? You know, what's his ceiling, and what's his future with the Knicks? What's his role on the Knicks? Besides the obvious that he's the center, right? He's the future starting five. But what is he for the Knicks? Where does he fit in?
Well, Mitch is your anchor. You know, Mitch is your anchor. He's going to protect the paint. He's going to hold it down for you. When you get a better point guard situation, when you get a more capable point guard, he's going to be your finisher, finishing on the lobs, the offensive rebounds, the putbacks. I don't know if his game will ever move outside of 3 feet. I'm not sure. You know, you do see him shoot. We try to bestow the mid-range Mitch moniker on him if he would ever just let it fly. But right now, he's just going to be the finisher for us. And I think once we get better point guard play, I think once he himself sets better screens.
He's a lobs and dunks center.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And the responsibility is on the coach to get him lobs and dunks. And that's my frustration with his development under Fizdale. Is that you've got to have plays. I think Frank can run those plays. I think Dennis Smith should be able to run those plays. This just the simplest thing. Get him moving. Throw him lob. You could throw him lob so high that nobody's going to be able to defend it. I really don't understand why that's not a part of what they do. Can he be a leader for your team? Does he have is his basketball IQ is in question? Because he can't be played for significant minutes. He stays in foul trouble. His decision making for a second-year player is not where it should be. Does he have the mental capacity to be a leader on this team?
Well, that's a good question. That's $1 million question, and it's left to be seen. I think he's shown it, but again, durability and discipline have been my two keys for Mitch. And he has that build where the durability is always going to be in question, but the discipline has got to be better. Especially, I look back to the Nets game just recently. He fouls out of the game, and because there was just so many, 2 or 3 of the fouls were just so undisciplined and unnecessary that part of it cost us a game. And upon fouling out, he ends up picking up a technical foul. But I think that also comes with just being a young kid. I mean, he's extremely young, extremely green, still a project. But I give credit to the Knicks for trying to put the veterans around him to kind of help him get through that. You saw DeAndre Jordan in here last year. He didn't stay. But Taj Gibson, I love that acquisition. I definitely love that acquisition. For Mitch. Fort Green, and hopefully he's one of the pieces that I would like to keep here on the second year of his deal, just to continue that that mentorship for Mitch, because I think Taj is certainly one of the leaders on this team.
Definitely. Taj Gibson is a guy that I thought, if the Nets have being capped out with their signings, could have brought in a kid from Fort Greene, Brooklyn through and through, but he's a Knicks fan. That I credit him for being a diehard, and you need those type of guys. Like I always go back to Rasheed Wallace when he played with those Melo teams. You couldn't even measure what he did on the court. Like he'd have decent numbers on for the amount of minutes that he played, but it really just was, that's somebody sometimes you just need other players who could tell your superstar shut the fuck up. Like I think Rasheed was the type of dude that when Melo needed it, and Chauncey Billups as well. I think that's why Melo had his most success with Chauncey Billups. You needed that guy on the team that could just look at you and be like, Melo, fuck that superstar shit. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And
as a result, Melo finished third in the MVP voting that year when we had all those bets on Knicks tape. So I definitely agree with that.
Absolutely. And I think my team has that problem, but the Knicks have an opportunity to kind of bolt those players in the form of Taj Gibson, in the form of the young guys who are just getting older underneath their tent. Who's the keeper of all the signings? Who's the person that the Knicks need to go forward with?
Well, for one, like I said, it's definitely Taj. I got to see what Reggie Bullock does when he comes back. I'm not sure what he will be. Obviously, he's a 3-and-D player. He's a highly efficient three-point shooter. I think his best came when he was on Detroit. I think he shot almost close to 45% from downtown. So certainly, as we continue to look to space the floor, and we desperately need consistent three-point shooting, he could be, but we got to see more. I would say right now, again, Julius is by default. I think they will let Julius play out 2 years, the 2 to 3 at least. Morris, I would look to trade between December 15th at the deadline if we can get back into the first round. Ellington, I would look
he's definitely looking valuable. Like, he looks like a guy you could add to a playoff team that wins, that just his addition gets you through a round that you might have lost without him. I don't think you ever want him to be the centerpiece. Like, seeing him take the most shots for the Knicks night in, night out is infuriating for me, because I think that should just be I think the best investment would be letting the kids do that. But if you could trade him, if you could flip him December 15th, I think he has value if for like a Utah who could look at him and go, all right, I could grab him, unleash him during the game at some point, and sneak a couple of rounds, maybe make it to the Western Conference Final just by having him, because he was there to just tire out LeBron, who's playing 42 minutes. So
Yeah, I think Morris could definitely be a valuable piece for now. I like him here. Don't get me wrong, but again, we still need to be in that asset acquisition phase, and if we can get something for him, then I would definitely look to trade him.
That's my phrase for Knicks fans: asset acquisition. That, like, all the other stuff is a distraction. The arguments with Richard Jefferson, the press conferences, all of that is a distraction. What Steve Mills should be on the phone to all 29 of the other teams is, listen, we are the New York Knicks. We are open for business. Can we help you? Can we make something happen for you? Are you trying to liquidate some of your youth for some winning right now? We have a full stock cupboard of players you could use to grind out. And that brings us to a great question: is Randall available December 15th?
I don't see them doing that as their prize free. And I say that, almost cracking up here, as their prize free agent acquisition. And again, with a kid with some upside, I don't see them doing that. I don't see them going back on that and admitting that it was I don't want to grade it as a bad signing, because I don't necessarily know if it's going to be a bad signing. I just think
someone offers you a lottery pick. Do you take it? Yes or no?
Oh, absolutely, no doubt about it. Without hesitation.
They probably won't. They probably won't,
no.
Because that's your signature signing. You've got to be able to show Jim Dolan. Like I tell this story about Jim Dolan at the Garden. I always say that he always acts up. Like, if you ever go back and look at every time that he's ever acted up in the Garden, it's always because he has bitches with him. That's
and a whole lot.
Hold on,
a whole lot. I was at Summer League, and he had a whole row of Victoria's Secret bottles. Dolan is not playing.
He's getting the Jeffrey Epstein hookup. He's going to the island. Where that's his whole life, and the thing is, he, in his mind, I always, and that's not my word, bitches. That's what when I look at Jim Dolan, and he's looking at that fan's face and telling them, how dare you tell me to sell the team? What I hear him saying is, how dare you talk crazy to me in my palace amongst my bitches.
It's true.
Dolan doesn't know he's a trick. He would never think of himself as that, even though I know he has Jeffrey Epstein on speed dial. When Jeffrey Epstein ended up hung in his cell from apparent suicide, quote unquote, I'm sure Jim Dolan breathed a sigh of relief, because I understand he's super rich, but he, JD in the straight shots, I don't know if he's a player like that. So every time he gets upset, he needs to get out of his way. He needs to get out of Steve Mills' way. Take these L's, go on tour with your bitches. Let the team do what they got to do, because
just let it marinate, man.
Because if you go into asset acquisition mode, the Knicks, even if they start to even look good, players will come here. You just got to give someone the confidence, like, okay, like, things are stable. They looking good. They built this nice little team that's getting close to 40 wins. You could do that if you just let this dude Perry do it. His picks have been good. Give him 15 picks over the next 3 years. I bet you he'll build you a playoff team.
We need foundation. We need stability. And again, if you look at it at the micro level, then I think it looks pretty bad. But if you pull back again, as you said, I think Perry's picks have been good. We still have all our picks going forward. We have the Mavericks picks going forward. Now, where those end up, we don't know. Luka Doncic is starting to look like a generational talent, but we'll see what happens. You still have to, pick the right players. And again, the cap flexibility will continue to be that way going forward. So I think from a macro level, I think we're right where we need to be. I mean, I look at Philadelphia's turmoil over the past 6 years. I mean, they had 19 win seasons, 18. They had a 10-win season in 2015, 28 wins in 2016. All those years, it was, Brett Brown is the worst coach ever. Get rid of him. And now everything is cool, right? They have their prospects.